Welcome student. Now we study the principles of weed control methods which are applied. There are different weed control methods, that is the curative and preventive weed control methods. So out of these two, which methods are suitable or there is a effectively weed control? There are some principles are to be taken in a consideration before the weed control method. There is, we see the number one, habit of weed plants. There are different types of weeds are grown in wasteland and cultivated field. So there is xerophytic weeds. Xerophytic weeds, they are thrives very well under the dry and arid condition. So they can be easily controlled by the flood condition. When we produce the flood condition in that field, that time xerophytic weeds are easily controlled. Then the weed plants which are grown in yield drain and marshy soils, they are also controlled by the improving drainage condition of that field and they are effectively controlled. Then the second one is the life cycle of weed plants. Life cycle of weed plants, there is annual weeds, biennial weeds, and number third one is the perennial weeds. They are easily controlled. Annual weeds are controlled effectively. They are destroyed before the flowering and seed setting stage by the use of mechanical and chemical weed control method. There is a biennial weeds. They can be also controlled by the proper tillage operations during the first season when they are only appeared on vegetative growth and before the formation of flowers. They are easily controlled. Then the perennial weeds can be controlled by the use of perennial weeds are also controlled by the use of deep ploughing, that is the tillage operation, preparatory tillage operations which are given in during the summer season and the field is exposed for sunlight and the vegetative parts and other parts of weed plant are also collected and destroyed by burning. That is the it can be, so that we say that it can be also controlled by the use of mechanical and chemical weed control method. Then we study the third principle, that is the susceptibility of certain herbicides. Some weeds are susceptible to the certain herbicides while others are not. For example, dicot type weeds are susceptible to the 2,4-D atrazine weedicide, and while they are not susceptible to the monocot type weed plants. So 2,4-D is easily controlled in cereal crop, that is their seeds are as a monocot in that field. But in standing crop, the selective weedicides are also used to control the weed plants when there is a high intensity of weed. Then next one is the glyphosate is non-selective herbicide. So it is easily controlled dicot and monocot type weeds from in wasteland which is not under cultivated or not crop area. In that field, non-selective weedicides can be used effectively weed control. Then the dormancy of seed. Dormancy of seed means there are some seeds have a long dormancy period, or their seeds are remain in dormant condition for long duration. So these weed plants are also controlled. These weed plants are also controlled before the flowering and seed setting stage. For example, striga. The seeds of striga remain in dormant condition for long duration, near about striga seeds. Then the water hyacinth, it can be remain in dormant condition for 12 to 15 years. So these weed plants are controlled before the flowering stage, which have a long dormancy period. Then the resistance to adverse condition without losing their viability. Some weed seeds have a hard seed coat and remain viable for long duration, and if they are burrowed into the soil but they are remain dormant condition. When these weed seeds are burrowed more deep into the soil, that time they are easily grow in that field. So these types of weed plants, hard seed coated weed seeds or weed plants, are controlled before the flowering and seed formation stage by the use of mechanical, chemical and physical weed control method, or combination of two or more. Then the sixth one is the method of reproduction of the weed plant. Some weed plants are reproduced by the seeds. That time they are easily controlled before the flowering and seed setting stage by use of mechanical or chemical weed control method or physical weed control method. But which weed plants are reproduced or propagate itself as vegetatively or vegetative part of plant, that time they can be controlled by the deep ploughing and expose them for sunlight during the summer season, and these parts are collected and destroyed outside of the field, or sometimes it can be easily controlled by the use of translocated herbicides or weedicides, weeds which are reproduced by seed, and vegetatively. They are controlled by the suitable combination of mechanical and chemical weed control method. Then the next one point should be consider that the dispersal of weed seeds. The weed seeds are these types of things should be considered before the use of weed control method, that the medium of weed seed dispersal should be considered while follow the weed control method. The weeds can be controlled by taking into account the mechanism of dispersal seeds, that is and suitable measures should be followed avoid the further spread of weed by different agencies, and we should also control or prevent them. The weed seeds are spread or translocate from one place to another place, that avoid the grazing animals or grazing cattle, then avoid the weed infested implement to the clean field, or there is these types of weed plants are controlled, that some weed seed have a special structure, that there is a balloon or spongy like, and they are light-weighted, so they are easily spread through the wind. So these types of weeds are also controlled before the flowering stage, and they can be effectively controlled. So student, there is a principles of weed control method we study. They are considered before the apply any one weed control method during the crop area or before the cropping. So student, in next video study different points of weed control method. So here we carefully study or listen the principles of weed control methods. So thank you student, we meet in our next video lecture.